Hello, welcome to Taboli Watch. We
We're
are
so happy you're
a
here.
quaint group of friends.
We're live.
We're
I don't
live.
have any memory, but I just feel like I want to be pleasant.
I want to evolve. I want to get out of this body. I just want to be a being of light.
I feel like we're doing a community stage production where we're all in like caterpillar costumes. But
Yeah.
we're gonna turn into butterflies.
But it's all in black turtlenecks for some reason, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Why do these caterpillars have berets on? I don't understand. Well, it's a regionalism choice.
That's right. It's Transfigurations, the next episode on Star Trek The Next Generation.
The next episode.
Yeah, 20-something. 25?
25, season
Yeah.
3, episode 25, the second to last of this season. Oh, I mean,
ultimately-
good news is we're about to be in season 4. Bad news is we're almost done with season 3.
Yeah. Well, I think right now, this is where I would say we've hit like the Star Trek Next Generation like formula. Like Wesley is now in uniform, and like, and we've got all of these things. Like we've got an established sort of formula for each of these episodes that we can come back to. And this is just some would say maybe filler between major plot points, because now you can just have the monster of the week or the puzzle of the week that's not really a puzzle.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. This feels like a really core episode because the will they won't they of Geordi and Christy is finally resolved. They
Was
will.
Whoa. They will
did.
and they have.
Yeah.
And
shall.
several nights this week.
I like that
Okay.
your one key example is Wesley's finally in uniform.
There it is. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
that's just what we were waiting for. It was waiting for the uniforms to shift, and then Wesley gets in one. No,
I
the
didn't
next
know I
one.
was waiting for so
I
long.
misspoke. We have not had Troy in uniform yet.
What's
That
her
happens pretty late
uniform?
too, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
She gets like a science outfit at one
She's
point.
supposed to be in a science uniform.
Yeah.
And
But
She
I think,
just-
as you pointed out, Xander, maybe she's just in more civilian slash. Hold on, I'm getting beeping.
I'm getting the beeping too. Weird.
It's
Is this because someone is searching for you? Okay, never mind. Hold on.
Wow, the
the
dogs.
Patreons get all this dog barking, garbage truck beeping. And Xander, I guess it'd be in your room, like rehearsal of musicals.
Yep. Or the air conditioning or the cat. Or
Okay.
Bonnie doing VO in the other room.
But like as Xander, I think you pointed out, like she's sometimes just dressed as like a more civilian-like, I guess, more approachable, less uniform.
It's because she's the sexy character. And she has to be in the sexy clothes, I guess.
I mean, there's a lot of sexy characters in this show, though. I think they really didn't know what they had.
Well,
They should
it
all
was
be-
all on display in the new sort of body suits that these aliens used, because we sort of saw everything, and they weren't really used properly, huh?
Well, before
Okay, I want
Yeah,
to
go
talk about the plot of the episode.
Yeah.
So, the first thing that we come across is that Geordi doesn't know how to talk to women, specifically this one woman, Christy. Worf is going to show him the ropes. At the same time, there is a humanoid who's crash landed in a vessel on a planet. They go to rescue him, and this person has a lot of special characteristics, and Beverly in trying to heal this humanoid, develops a close relationship with them. And then someone comes looking.
Yeah, like right
Wow.
away, I didn't know if they were really playing off of the idea of this, but Worf says something to Geordi along the lines of like, they need to see the fire in your eyes, and he's got the visor on.
Oh,
So no one's gonna see the fire in Geordi's eyes.
man.
So no one could see Geordi rolling his eyes when
Yeah,
he told that.
right. So I was like, I wonder if there was any consideration on making that a joke, or they didn't
I don't
play
think so,
it.
because I think Jordy knew he was speaking somewhat proverbially, because Jordy follows it up as like, what would I say to her? Because he knows it's about the passion of it, right? But then Worf
Yeah.
comes back with something about like words come later. It's the scent that
Yeah.
first speaks of love.
Something gross.
I think
Thanks
that's
a lot,
totally
Worf.
valid. It makes
It
a
is,
lot
he's
of sense
right.
for a Klingon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Makes a lot of
All those
sense for
pheromones.
Geordi because vision is not his primary sense.
Yeah.
He
Love
sniffed
that.
out
Yeah.
Christy long ago.
And we knew that Jordy was always awkward around women because he was dating the holodeck before.
That's
His
where
longest
Christy
running
made her
relationship.
first appearance, actually.
Okay,
She's-
is that the same actress?
It's the woman who I think he was on a date with in the holodeck where he like conjured that beach. Remember?
Yeah.
And it didn't go so well.
Oh, but
She
not
was
the
that
same
person.
as the doctor that he built.
No, and so that's who I thought too, Dr. Leah Brahms.
Yeah.
That's who I thought it was. I was like, wait, she's just on board the ship now? But
No.
no, this is that same woman from the first scene.
That
But
makes
sh-
sense. I remembered referring to a Christy about him, but Christy really came around. She's thought about it. She, initially was like, I don't know if he's the guy for me, but she's been thinking about him because she flirts with him in 10 Forward as Geordi gets completely tongue-tied and doesn't know what to say. So, of course, Worf responds with, I have much to teach you about women.
Wah, wah. And so I have a question. If you were Christy in that scenario, right? You come up and you talk to somebody and you've gotten hints that maybe they have feelings for you, and you see them just totally bomb talking. And like before she's even turned around, he's lowered his head to like the bar and disgusted himself. What do you do at that point? Do you like turn around and be like, give him a second chance, or do you like, they need to have a moment and I'll come back later? Or I'm like, what would be your reaction?
If I like him,
If you were Christy.
I just ask him out.
Oh, so he has the meltdown and like head on bar, you would come up and just be like, hey, let's go do something.
Yeah, because she's obviously flirting because she likes him, and then he gets so tongue-tied because he's obviously nervous and likes her. So in that situation, you got to make the first move. I mean, Christy what was she doing? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I give him a moment to like process his shit.
See, I had the same thing of like, I had the instinct of like, why is she walking away? But I'm like, no, I'd probably walk away too and just sort of let him handle it.
And then send him a sweet note to his quarters later. Just be like,
Yeah.
hey, I just want to hang out. Let's go back to the holodeck and try again.
No
Hold on.
talking.
You know what? Better idea. Don't walk away before you can form a single sentence. You patiently wait for the
someone
words to
He
come.
was struggling.
Here's the thing about that. It's like, as an actor, what do you do when you're actually a pretty charismatic person like LeVar Burton is, right? And like a lot of his fumbling was really just he couldn't complete a sentence. He's like, I'll know what I'm doing later. Like he didn't.
Yeah.
And Worf is just like, just say more than 2 words.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough.
For
That's a
Worf
tough.
to say that.
Yeah. But that's a tough task for an actor. Of like, being awkward is one thing, but not being able to just be tongue tied.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's pretty easy. Nah. Your thoughts and opinions? Nah.
It don't matter.
But yeah,
right,
then they get this distress signal and they beam down, and then Data's like, "Oh, the radiation levels are fine." I was like, maybe check that before going to the planet.
Good catch.
Yeah, just a tip.
None of your skin is boiling. The radiation levels are fine.
Huh? Who would have thought?
Also, there was a lot of strolling in this episode when people should have been running. Like
A lot,
Crusher was
especially
just
at the
kinda
end.
walking around checking. Yeah, especially at the end. But here, Crusher was just walking around the crash site, and then a body. Okay.
Buddy.
And then
That's poor
some.
direction.
Yeah, but then some like surprisingly gruesome makeup, like that the bloody sort of burned skin, seeing the teeth through the
They're
mouth.
the bowlers, right?
Like that was very intense for something like this.
Yeah.
That's true, but they did need to show that he was on the edge of death, that it would not be an easy recovery. It would be tough work for Beverly. one
Sure.
thing. There's one other, to your point about rushing and walking and running at inappropriate times. Geordi's being awkward in 10 Forward, and then he gets the call saying, like, go now. And there's a walk and talk happening through the corridor as they're going straight to Transporter. He was in 10 Forward. So is there off time, or are you just like a doctor always on call on this starship, and anytime you're needed, it's not like your second in engineering can take your spot. No, you just must always go.
Yeah, so there are shifts, and so in this case, like sometimes the alpha shift would be on duty or whatever, but whoever is the head engineer or head doctor or whatever would get called in for special emergencies no matter what. So yeah, as the chief of engineering, Geordi would be on call forever on
Even
the
in
ship.
the middle of sleep.
Because
Had no
if
off time.
yeah, if something goes wrong with the ship, then everyone's dead.
Okay,
So
so
what
when a
happens-
doctor has time when they're on call, but they're not at work, they do not drink alcohol.
That's what I was wanting. Great question. Yeah.
So that's why it's synthahol. It does not have the impairments of alcohol, and
Then why do you drink it?
that is a question. But yeah, regular alcohol is not allowed on starships. Well, I mean, for officers.
Cool. Well, I just resigned from Starfleet.
Yeah. Yeah, anything from the
Alcohol
replicator.
doesn't impair you. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I think it has it's like some sort of like psychotic beneficial effects without the impairment of alcohol.
It makes your
So
liver
it makes your
stronger.
face numb.
Both of those are correct.
Cool.
So we find a John Doe who actually takes that name for the remainder of the episode, which is such a strange but also welcome change because every single time we do these, I'm always like, so Vlalnar.
Yeah.
And I can never remember who it is. But now we just got John. We got this light being named John. He is unconscious for the whole first act of this, right?
Mhm.
Like he's being repaired. And so we get a lot of
But he's
medical
still
drama in the
impresses
puzzle.
Beverly.
Yeah. He's got the
He's remarkable.
resting genius face. I don't know.
Because of his super regeneration and mutating cell structure.
Yeah, I guess. This was the most confusing stuff because, first of all, doesn't something happen to Geordi that he gets?
Yeah, so
Yes.
when there's a really weird technobabble scene with the with Crusher on the planet when they're trying to at least resuscitate him because they can't beam him directly to sickbay because he's too badly injured, right?
Point of clarification. Since when can you not be beamed when you're injured?
Well,
right? It's
they made for it with the interference. They made the sky cloudy, and that's always like
there's
something's
there's
going
always
on.
like, okay, this planet also has some interference. So
Right.
transporters. I feel like when they came up with transporters in the 60s, the 80s and 90s writing team was like, oh god, we have so many interference scenes.
yeah, of things going wrong.
Yeah.
But normally, I really like to follow along the technobabble stuff, but for this episode, I just couldn't.
It was tough.
Yeah.
No, it was so before we go too much further, I should say that this script was a struggle for the writing staff. This is the
I
second.
could tell.
Yeah, this
It
is
was
the
a
sec-
struggle for me too. Sorry.
This is no, I agree. It was a struggle. This is the second episode. This is from Memory Alpha, written by Renee Eschiavaria. This is the person that I believe they sold The Offspring as like a spec script, right?
That was the one where Troy gets pregnant.
No, that's the
Oh.
child. This is
Oh,
the
whoops.
one where Data builds.
Lol.
Lol.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Raffle? I don't remember. Yeah,
Wow.
Lol.
Raffle.
John.
It's
Lol.
wow.
There's a quote here. After selling The Offspring to the show, I went back to New York, and Michael Piller, one of the executive directors, called me a couple of weeks later and he had a story that was dead in the water. It was a premise they had bought involving us finding some crashed ship on a little moon, and there's a man who's basically dead, and we use miraculous 24th century medicine to bring him back to life. We practically grow him back, but who is he? What's the story? I thought about it for a while and came back with the basic idea of Transfigurations, that someone was evolving out of their human form and into an energy being. We've seen both of these stories before, but we've never seen the intermediate step.
Huh.
Yeah, huh?
Okay, sorry, I need to go back to LOL for a minute. The name of our previous episode, in which we refer to when Data is kidnapped and he just goes, wow, 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 wow.
Oh!
It doesn't make any sense. He was remembering his child.
I
when he played
forgot.
with that weird turtle. He was
You're-
just saying her name over and over. That was him mourning. Wow.
That's
Wow.
quite
The connections. They go deep.
I want this to
figured
be
it
a
out.
new Star Trek conspiracy theory. I like it.
But it was
Okay,
still the scratch track that wasn't supposed to air.
He's essentially just saying baby, 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 baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, to your point about the script writing being difficult, being given a very half-baked idea, and baking it
Yeah.
3/4.
Because I think the main issue that I have with the structure of this episode. The part of the main reason that I like Star Trek is to figure out the mystery along with the characters, and for this, there wasn't really anything to figure out. Things were happening to them, and there wasn't any input by anybody. You know what I mean? It was a weird.
Yeah. And it also resolved instantly. Like
Yeah.
his big two displays of power were when O'Brien came in after kayaking and had his dislocated shoulder or whatever. And there was no drama to it. Just the guy walked up. He's like, I remember I'm good at this. And touched him and healed him. And then there was a more dramatic scene with Worf trying to subdue him when he went to try and go take over a shuttlecraft, right?
And then Worf full on died.
Dies, yeah. Breaks his neck.
There's a lot I want to talk about in all of these scenes. When Worf falls from a balcony, they specifically do a stunt shot where you see him land flat on his back with his neck elevated.
Whoa.
Don't get that shot. Get a faraway shot of a dummy falling if you're going to 1 second later say his neck is broken, because we clearly saw him land flat on his back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, who knows when the neck was broken? That could have been something in the toss or whatever, but whatever.
There's also like massive spinal injuries that could, I don't know, but I hear you. The stunt work is a thing for sure. But like those were just two. He displayed his power, then we're like, oh, he's good at this, and then he's move a healer on every time, right? Yeah. I agree with you, Xander. There's no mystery to things. There's not enough drama. Like, as we were talking about, there's a lot of strolling in dramatic scenes. Like, his attempted escape, like, Beverly literally had her hands in her coat pockets as she was talking to him. She's like, you need to come down from there. Don't do this.
Yeah. When Worf falls and they all walk over and she
just strolls.
She strolls. And so does the whole gang.
Was there no running on set this day? Was that like a rule?
That was the rule.
Maybe somebody had fallen down and been injured, and they decided there would not be a repeat incident.
It's crazy.
But yeah, so what we know about John Doe before he wakes up is that his cells are mutating. Beverly's very impressed. There was wreckage in space that Picard finds, but he can't figure out. They assume a ship blew up, but they don't know how many people. They don't know where they're from. They don't know why. Then he wakes up and he has amnesia, conveniently.
Yeah. Sorry, just the point that we were making before. Doesn't Geordi get like hurt or something on the planet side, and he is
we
healed?
completely dropped that thread, right?
Yeah,
and also,
yeah.
the story drops that thread a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, there's an energy transference between his brain and John Doe's, which
because
needed to happen to stabilize his.
That's what it was. It was the medical technobabble of Beverly said, I need a functioning brain system or something like that to transfer this over to.
Someone volunteer. Don't ask for what till after. I just need to volunteer first, and then I'll tell you what it is.
Immediately, Geordi's like, me. And it's like, what? What do you mean? You sure we don't need your brain? Like, maybe more than other people? Okay, it's fine.
So, theoretically, he could not be transported because he's too dying. And then she has just these, like, little metal squares diodes she sticks on their foreheads and is like, okay, your brain is going to brain for him.
Right.
And then he can teleport again.
Yeah. I think it was like brain waves. Isn't that what she described?
Yeah, to like stabilize
it
something.
Needed a pattern to follow to be able to be stabilized because his electrical firings weren't happening, right?
Now that we're talking about it, this may be he was becoming the energy being and he needed to stabilize with a human to be more human. Because otherwise he would have turned into that energy being right then. And that's why he had the amnesia and became more human. This is me justifying it.
And honestly, I like your explanation so much better than the lack of one we got for this, because he just like doesn't remember things until it's too late. And he's just like, I'm going to go do this thing now. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
But we think temporarily that we're suspicious of him and he's lying because he does have certain memories as they slowly come back.
Right.
The other thing to your point about Geordi's thread being dropped, he immediately knows how to talk to women after this brain link happens. But then we're to think that he's been corrupted or something evil is going to happen or he's
Yeah.
like poisoned or needs an antidote or
Transference, maybe.
something. And no, at
Nothing.
the end it's like, actually, you just got to boost the confidence from a star being. You're
So,
welcome.
not only this, so we have Geordi acting out of character that we had established this episode. We also have Beverly, which they did not develop this like romance relationship at all. So in my mind, I was like, is there like an emotional pheromone or something that's like messing with everyone on the Enterprise as well? Like, but
I'm guessing they probably had a romantic element that they scrapped for time or something more important. In like an early draft, it was there, and then we're seeing the remnants of it. You know,
it felt really out of character.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
I,
Well, but
I
was it
disagree. I
Really?
thought that the romance was the only part that kind of made sense. He was like warm and fuzzy, and she, as she describes to Wesley, she knows that there is sometimes this bond that can form between doctor and patient. That's like, you know, the parallel of Stockholm syndrome, where there's feelings that develop because of the intimacy of the relationship
and the caring.
And I did feel that from both the actors that they were playing that. And it wasn't really scripted and it wasn't supposed to be. It was just she does something that kind of shows she's interested in him and John Doe does the same back to Beverly. And then it's never pursued really because he turns into a glowing ball of orange light.
Yeah.
yeah, like I think it's called the Nightingale effect.
Oh.
But like you're
Florence
like
Nightingale?
I think that's
Maybe.
what it's after.
No,
but like
it definitely
I don't
is.
understand why she fell for him in the first place when he was unconscious. I guess I don't know what his redeeming quality was.
She was interested in his physiology and why it was such a mystery. Once he woke up, he didn't know anything, but he just had like this kind and gentle nature that she was attracted to.
Right.
Maybe Beverly's into light beings and she's never
Right.
really had the chance to encounter one
Sure thing.
before.
Honestly, who isn't?
Yeah. Right.
Can we just briefly at the end when they say
Yeah,
goodbye,
that was
there's,
a
like,
good-
this hand nuzzle where the actor, you know, the
Gates is
effects
so
for this
good at it.
episode were tricky. They
It was
couldn't-
just a like Zentai suit.
Oh
the
man.
full body, full face suit in yellow or orange, and so she's acting against a guy who has stretched fabric over his face.
They'll
and then,
fix it in post, I'm sure.
rubs a gloved hand on her as she continues to nuzzle, and there's like one nuzzle too many against his
She
hand.
like follows it through in an interesting way. But no, that stuck out to me too.
Look, we've sat through those first two seasons with some rough makeup and some rough special effects, but that I think was the most embarrassed I had been when I saw you can see the suit so clearly and like the wrinkles
zipper.
on the zipper on the head. I was like, no, guys, what happened? You have to turn up the intensity on that glow for him. And this is also remastered, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like they didn't remaster that further. Like this was the theater scene you were talking about in the beginning where everybody's in a turtleneck except it's all in the orange suit.
To be fair, it would have been broadcast in less definition, so it was probably good enough without blowing it totally out.
Sure, but still, like it feels very much like the Green Man suit.
But they had
I
like
wanna
they went to the warehouse and got a discount at like Jumpsuit Paradise or something like that because everyone had an ill-fitting jumpsuit.
They spent enough money on all the diagnostic equipment inside of sick bay. Like there was 1,000 different tests and lasers we subjected him to.
I did appreciate the fleshing out of the sick bay. We got to see some nurses. We got to see Beverly in command of the sick bay with other people doing work and stuff. That was nice.
A lot of blank amount of CCs of blank.
Exactly.
Yeah. Loved
There
those.
was one nurse with the short dark hair that ran in after. John Doe starts having these like weird spasms and weird pain, which we know when we start to see his chest glowing gold that maybe due to the name of the episode he's going to transfigure in some way. But that was another example of someone moving in a very awkward way when they should be running instead. Because this nurse just comes into the room as he's spasming and fell on the floor and is like, oh no, medical bay. It's really awkward.
Did either of you understand what those glows were as you were watching? Because I feel like we only figure out this energy being thing at the end.
At the very end.
Like there's no hints about it, right?
Nope.
I mean, if you I don't count these as hints. I count these as occurrences.
Yeah, no, that's why it was so frustrating because you can't figure this out. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I was
But
just
you know
felt
what?
lost and I didn't know if I was missing something.
I thought he had explosive diarrhea from the way he screamed, "I have to leave," and then
It's all gonna come out.
steal a shuttle.
I can't poop on this ship.
I can't let Beverly smell it. It would be so superhuman.
So embarrassing.
Goodness.
And he shoots
Also,
stuff
one
out
of the
of his
other
butt.
technobabble scenes, which I really was like trying to pay intense attention to, was the tracking of his home system when Geordi and Data are trying to like match up the data from his computer to the pulsar stars. Your blank
It lost
expressions
me.
is telling me that you didn't even remember
No.
that scene.
Yeah, no, I completely blanked. I remember
Yes,
there's
this
something
scene, and I
they-
remember checking out during it.
They recovered like the ship in a bottle engine thing. It was like a blue jug, and they're like, "This is part of the engine. How does this go?" But we're on break.
It's
and
the
then
closest-
they set it aside.
Yeah. They also like had it in 10 forward. Like,
Yeah.
you should not be carrying
No.
this alien memory
Alien
banks
engine,
around
yeah.
your synthahol drinks.
Well,
Anyway.
it's only synthahol we
It's
found
only
out,
synthahol.
so
It's only synthahol.
But it's like
everything has
got
less stakes.
exposed wiring and stuff
Right.
like that.
But yeah, they figure more out, right, with Data's help.
I don't even want to get into it, but the point is that they decode it in a way that like it's kind of a visual picture, and then they use the data from existing star charts to figure out what it means.
Right.
Oh, that's how they found out what planet he came
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
Right.
And this is when we get the false, like, oh, I thought you didn't remember anything, but now you remember that you really don't want to go back to your home planet.
For some
Which she
reason.
explains with, well, I was in an escape pod, meaning I escaped, meaning I was running away. So whatever previous me wanted, it wasn't that.
Isn't it better to have him just be hiding this stuff instead of this whole amnesia story? Because like it just makes us think he's bad all the time, which is just these constant red herrings that don't ever really matter, right?
But it's also a blanket sort of plot fixer, right? You can just say,
Sure.
"Oh, well, he forgot. He didn't know."
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's too like, oh well, moving on. Let's have another occurrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That would have been a better way to do it because his hesitancy to share all the information could be that the previous civilization that knew something was happening to him wanted to destroy him. Because
Which
the
was
next
true.
thing that happens
That
is
was the
that
plot.
Zalcon is the people, the planet that he comes from. And the Zalconians catch up with the Enterprise and they say, we had 4 escaped felons, 3 of them we killed and 1 of them got away, and you've got him and we want him.
I mean, if he
They didn't say please, though.
No, they didn't.
I think if it had been that he was hiding, then they would have had to justify he knew that it wasn't a sickness, it was an evolution into the energy being. And I think they wanted to play up that he thought he was sick and dying and was trying to escape and didn't know that it was like going to get better.
But we've replaced it by
Technically, he
him
didn't.
just.
He technically didn't. Well, they've revisited a similar type of storyline in Discovery and did it way better in the Kelpians. Like, there was a whole species that believed that once this thing happened, they died because they were being killed to be kept subservient, but really they became stronger type of thing. So, yeah, there was a better way to do it.
Yeah, because he's just being mysterious the whole time, and even he doesn't know why.
Yeah.
So then we're just left ignorant for the 45 minutes until the orange suit scene.
Because then these guys show up from his planet and say, yeah, he's a criminal. We were going to execute him.
And that's when the memories come flooding back. Yes, on my planet, there are some people who are outliers. They show some glowing orangeness, and that's when they get killed and told that they're sick and it's a disease. But him and 3 others decided that they knew better and that what they had maybe wasn't bad, and they were going to escape to see what happened. Unfortunately,
they did
for the other
justify
3... another thing that's kind of off is after he turns into a gold glowy star, he has this holistic vision of, now that I know what I am, other Zalconians will follow me. Thank you for helping my people, you generous people on the Enterprise.
It's just a nice bow at the
as far
end.
as we know, the people from your home planet hate you.
Yeah.
He also gets other godly powers. He can snap the Zalconian captain
transport.
onto the Enterprise an instant transport along with other powers.
Well, one of the main powers that he got, and I don't know if he was directly or indirectly responsible for it, but all of a sudden, everyone stops breathing.
That was traumatizing.
Yeah.
That was like
in the middle of
on the
sentences. Ship. Yeah. And you see everyone choke and like pass out basically, except for he calmly stands up and touches Beverly. No hurry whatsoever. None. Then wakes up Beverly. She casually is like, "Oh, it's good to see you. I couldn't breathe for a second there. Let's go check on what's happening." And they see someone on the ground and casually stroll over there.
And she puts her medical equipment out, and then
he puts it away.
No, put it away. Okay,
stupid.
Now. Slowly.
And, you think they might one by one go find everyone who's struggling to breathe on the ship.
And I was like, Picard has died.
Shortcut, if I touch the ship, then everybody's healed. So thank God that my healing power works through technology as well.
Yeah, it makes me think like, oh, there was a problem with the life support, but he was fine. What's happening?
So Zalconians must have some telekinesis in order to mess with the oxygen level or to immediately make everybody's larynxes close. Because I think it was the captain of the other ship that caused everybody to start to die.
Was it? Because was he like using the Force over communications?
Honestly, guys, I don't know if there's anything explained. Like, I was looking at Memory Alpha for this too, and there's no description of it. Like, here's what the synopsis says during it. It says, declaring that Doe has corrupted the Enterprise crew as well, Sunad motions to his bridge crew, and the Zalconian ship creates some kind of effect that causes every member of the crew to suffocate.
So the Zalconian was responsible.
The ship was, yes.
Maybe a weapon. Why?
What is happening? Yeah. So here we go, guys. I think this is it. It's like this episode is just a bunch of Band-Aids. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Well, it's a bunch of like soggy Band-Aids that are rolled up from a pool that you collected in the filter and said, "Hey, is this anything?"
And they weren't even that sticky in the first place because they were just like, a third-party branding. They didn't really care about the quality.
And one of the
Band-Aids
was Wes in a uniform, and you're like, keep that.
That works. Yeah,
that's it.
that
Everything else, throw it away.
Now we've hit our stride.
Okay,
maybe O'Brien in the kayak uniform.
Favorite episode?
Yeah.
Well, I guess here's my creative question for you both: is how would you fix this if you were called in to do so?
We needed more information about the Zalconians, and we needed more of the trail that maybe Data finds with that engine. I also think there should have been some sort of like alien effect in the atmosphere that was affecting Beverly's feelings and what happened with Geordi. There were tidbits of interesting things that could have been woven together. Like, this feels like someone planned a campaign in a D&D session and the players just kind of did whatever they want, and you're like, the doctor's romancing? Okay, we'll go along with romancing, but okay, everyone's suffocating.
That's a good point, Xander. I never thought of it like that, but you're right also, because like you can hear the DM struggling to justify what's happening. He's like, okay, he's now remembered this memory.
Exactly.
He doesn't know why he's running.
This was an NPC. For sure.
Oh, I like this explanation.
I like our rewriting we did earlier of he's hiding it on purpose.
Right. Yeah.
He knows, and he's scared of humans or of the Federation.
There could so much have been a trans storyline here. Like, inherently, I feel like something else is inside of me. I'm a different person, but everyone else is scared and they don't want me in contact. Like, there was so much potential there.
I'm ready to reveal my true self to you, Beverly.
Right? And it's better than ever helping others. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Gentle metaphor.
But no.
I think we wrote it better.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
But Geordi's just a little changed. I do remember at the end as he leaves, like Geordi remarks to him, I feel, what does he say? Like, I'm a little bit of a different person. He's like, no, it's someone you always were.
Yeah.
You just unlocked it in yourself. We don't really know what it was. It was just like a confidence booster shot.
I like to think of maybe a near-death experience.
Oh, okay.
We can all use a little booster shot sometimes.
Yeah, right. Also, Worf died.
that happens.
He's gonna have a series of back injuries throughout this show too.
Yeah.
If I recall.
If I were Worf, I would wake up and be so angry at Beverly. I'd be like, I felt how slow you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much strolling in this episode.
The last thing I saw with my dying eyes was you casually strolling to my body.
Well, friends, we're going to get our own booster shot of Star Trek next week when we visit the final episode of season 3. And it is one of the best ones, as I recall. Because it's part 1 of the best of both worlds.
Oh, it's happening!
The Borg begin an invasion of Federation space and capture Captain Picard, turning him into one of their own.
What?
That's insane.
We'll see it next week.
And
Resistance is futile.